Welcome to TCV Dictionary Compilation Workshop Session 4. Today, 17th February, is the focus point Ardh Nareshwara. Ardh Nareshwara is the formulation of TC value 43. Ardh Nareshwara is the transcendental phenomenon of manifestation of the transcendental Lord as of the dual synthetic setup for the existence phenomenon as man and women simultaneously. It is this synthetic setup of the transcendental situation, transcendental phenomenon within creator's space, which is going to be the point of focused attention for the sadhakas, fulfilled with intensity of urge to proceed further for compilation of TCV dictionary. We know that Lord Brahma, forehead Lord, is Creator the Supreme. Within the cavity of heart of Lord Brahma is the seat of transcendental Lord Shiva. Five space is playing the role of origin of fourth space. Fourth space itself is of spatial dimensional order, and it is this spatial dimensional order which is responsible for this split of the transcendental domain in the role of an origin into a synthetic setup of a transcendental domain along the first axis as well as the transcendental domain towards the second axis. It is this split of the transcendental domain as a pair of transcendental domains which is the transcendental phenomenon of Ardh Nareshwara. The formulation Ardh Nareshwara is of TC value 32, which accepts an organization 16 plus 16, and we know that value 16 is of organization 2 raised to power 4, which is parallel to the value of the transcendental setup of a pair of faces for a surface, and surface a 2 space as dimension creates 4 space, and the dimensional frame of 4 space is of value 2 raised to power 4. Further, we know that 2 raised to power 4 is equal to 16 is the TC value of the formulation Dvay, simple rendering for which is 2. Therefore, value 2 as formulation Dvay with the TC value 16 is leading us to that 2 plus 2 is 4, 2 multiplied by 2 is also 4, minus 2 multiplied by minus 2 as well as 4. Further also we know that 2 raised to power 4 is equal to 4 raised to power 2. All these features together, and 32 is equal to 2 raised to power 5 is the frequency of the choices from the range 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to reach at value 6. All these features are simultaneously at work in the transcendental phenomenon of the split of a transcendental domain at the seat of an origin as a pair of transcendental domains. It is this phenomenon of the split of a transcendental domain as a pair of transcendental domains which is the focused aspect today, as Ardh Nareshwara, Lord Shiva, within creators of space, within the space of Lord Brahma, is transiting and transforming into Ardh Nareshwara. We know that three space, in terms of its three-dimensional frame, splits this frame into a pair of three-dimensional frames of half dimensions. Therefore, the phenomenon of transition and transformation of Lord Shiva as overlord of a five space, with five space in the role of an origin, transits and transforms into Ardh Nareshwara. And we know that three space is playing the role of dimension of a five space. So this three space in the role of a dimension of a five space within creators of space, because of the spatial order of creators of space, transits and transforms for the transcendental domain, resulting into the setup of a Ardh Nareshwara. The three space in the role of dimension splits into a pair of three-dimensional frames of half dimensions. We are also having an exposure to the transcendental family with Lord Ganesha and Lord Skanda, sons of transcendental Lord Shiv and the goddess Parvati. These all features are the features which are simultaneously playing their role, and it is this simultaneous role of these different features which take us to the happening of Ardh Nareshwara. The formulation Ardh Nareshwara is of TC value 43, and it's this split as Ardhanar and Ishwar takes us to TC value 41, and we know the value 23 is of an organization 3 plus 5 plus 3 into 5, and value 18 is of the organization 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6, and further 41 is the value which as a dimension takes us to value 3 as a domain. As such, this feature of Ardh Nareshwara happening with this organization 23 plus 18 brings us face to face with this set of features. Further, the Ardh Nareshwara as Nari and Nar. So Nar and Nari. So Nar Sharir and Nari Sharir with the body of a man and body of a woman. Now gives an organization for value 43 as 12 plus 14 plus 17. We know the value 14 is the TC value of formulation Sharir, a body, and value 12 is the value of a yog, and value 17 is the value of Atma, being. These features as such are also available to us while we shall be compiling TCV dictionary. Therefore, sadhakas fulfilled with an intensity of urge to go parallel with the Vedic systems for a reach at the organization of Vedic knowledge as quadruple Vedas, Upavedas, and connected Vedic scriptures shall sit comfortably and be face to face with the phenomenon of Ardh Nareshwara, Lord Shiva, transiting and transforming as Lord and Goddess simultaneously as a synthetic single phenomenon. For it, let us have a revisit at the setup of hypercube of 4, which accepts 5 space in the role of an origin. Now 5 space is a solid order space, means 3 space is playing the role of the dimension of a 5 space, while 4 space domain itself is of a spatial order. Therefore, this 3 space in the role of a dimension brings us face to face with the phenomenon of a 3-dimensional frame, which is a synthetic setup of a pair of 3-dimensional frames of half dimensions. Further, let us be face to face with the enlightenment phenomenon of Lord Brahma sitting comfortably and meditating within the cavity of his own heart at the seat of a transcendental Lord, and as a result, Lord Brahma is bestowed with the transcendental grace by the transcendental Lord Shiva, and Lord Brahma multiplies as 10 Brahmas in a Shivlok. This happening, this grace as a result amounts to transition and transformation from the setup of hypercube of 4 to the setup of hypercube of 5. Therefore, this is also the central reservoir of the values of the happening of the transcendental phenomenons, transition and transformation as Ardh Nareshwara. Transcendental Lord Shiv transiting and transforming as Lord Shiv and Goddess Parvati is the phenomenon, is the reach which the sadhakas have to follow and have to imbibe. Now, this split of 3-dimensional frame into a pair of 3-dimensional frames, that way amounts to restructuring 5-space domain as a pair of 5-space domains, and each 3-dimensional frame component is resulting into the manifestation for hypercube 5 as a pair of hypercubes 5. For it, let us revisit the role of a fire god, Agindev. The fire god splits parallel to 7 versions of hypercube of 5 as representative regular bodies of 7 geometries of 3 space. It is this split, it is this organization for the 7 versions of cube as hypercube 3 as representative regular bodies of 7 geometries of 3 space as 3 and 4 parallel to 3 positive geometries and 4 non-positive geometries, or otherwise 3 negative geometries and 4 non-negative geometries set up. It is this phenomenon, it is this feature, it is this value which deserves to be comprehended well to have a complete appreciation of the phenomenon of Ardh Nareshwara. Now, it is this phenomenon of the Ardh Nareshwara, therefore, for the sadhakas to be parallel with the Vedic systems shall sit comfortably and go for the enlightenment the way Lord Brahma, Creator the Supreme, acquired enlightenment by meditating within cavity of one's own heart and getting entitled for the transcendental grace. And it is with the transcendental grace of the transcendental Lord Shiv that Lord Brahma multiplies as 10 Brahmas, and as a result there happens to be a transition and transformation from the setup of hypercube 4 to the setup of an hypercube of 5. And now let us have a tabulation. The tabulation shall be of Navgraha, Navswar, Divya Tej and Garbhagraha. Now Garbhagraha is taking us to values 15 and 17, while Divya Tej is having values 17, 15, parallel to Navswar and parallel to the Navgraha. Therefore, now the focus is going to be upon the 9 planets, Navgraha, Surya, Chandrama, Mangal, Buddha, Brihaspati, Shukra, Shani, Rahu and Ketu. These 9 formulations lead us to TC values 13, 31, 29, 24, 32, 8, 13, 15 and 18. One shall open a new page and draw this table. In the first column is serial number 1 to 9, and in the second column are the 9 vowels from the first vowel to the 9th vowel. In the third column are the 9 planets, and in the fourth column are the TC values of these 9 formulations of 9 planets. Now these formulations, as these are, with these as TC values, will further take us to the values in terms of the formulations for ek, value 1 as ek to value 9 as now. So it will that way start unfolding from within the further values of these formulations of 9 planets as well as of the 9 vowels. Let us have a pause again and let us see that in the previous session we had been concentrating upon the 8 Yama letters as a foundation for the Devanagari Varnamala class of 8 letters designated as Yama letters. So 8 Yama letters are having a foundation of values and features of Shivalya. So Shivalya foundation of the Yama letters is helping us to have a parallel format of a hypercube of 4. Therefore, hypercube of 4, a 4-space body enveloped within a solid boundary of 8 components parallel to 8 eyes in all the 4 heads of Creator the Supreme. It is this foundation, it is this foundational format of the Yama letters which is of the format, features and values of a hypercube 4. Now we know that hypercube 4 is having 5 space in the role of an origin. Now it is this feature of 5 space playing the role of the origin of 4 space which makes this foundation of 8 Yama letters of octagon of polygon of 8 sides as the foundation of a Shivalya. From this foundation of the Shivalya we have now to proceed further, and by this foundation, with this as a starting point, we have to transcend upward, and it is this transcendence upward which will be taking us up till the 9 vowels. Therefore, today our focus is going to be that the transcendence happening at the origin of the creators of space will ultimately manifest as the 9 vowels, being the 9 planets. Therefore, let us concentrate as to how the Shivalaya foundation of the Yama letters are taking us up till the manifestation as a settlement of 9 vowels values for and being parallel to the 9 planets. It is this reach which is going to help us acquire additional insight, further enlightenment about the TCV dictionary compilation exercise. In this workshop, we are focusing upon the transcendental phenomenon of Transcendental Lord Shiva transiting and transforming as Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati. It is this reach of manifestation as Ardh Nareshwara of TCV 43, in fact, is the reach from the Sankhya Yoga of chapter 2 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita to the organization of chapter 3 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Let us open the textbook of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Let us recapitulate that chapter 2 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita is of a range of 72 shlokas. Value 72 is parallel to the 72 coordinates fixation of the transcendental boundary of a self-referral domain in 6 space. And chapter 3 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita is a scripture of 43 shlokas. It is a Karam Yoga. Therefore, while compiling TCV dictionary, we have to sequentially reach from the phase and stage of a Sankhya Yoga to the Karma Yoga. It is this reach, it is this attainment which should be taken as the focused attention point of today's workshop. Value 43 is the value parallel to the 43 shlokas range of chapter 3 Karma Yoga of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, the karma which is at the base of this transition and transformation of the transcendental Lord Shiva as Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati is within creators of space, which is of a spatial order, and its origin is of a solid dimensional order. It is the spatial order of the creators of space which is responsible for the split of three-dimensional frame into a pair of three-dimensional frames. It is this feature, it is this value, it is this format which is manifesting the idol of the fire god, the Agni Dev. The Agni Dev is a third element. First is Prithvi, second is Apa, and third is Agni. Now it is this Agni, it is this third element, it is this hypercube 3 which is bringing us face to face with the happening and feature responsible for transition and transformation of the transcendental domain into a pair of transcendental domains, and the value of hypercube 5 as a raised to power 5 is to 10 b raised to power 4, as such takes to 40 coordinates fixation for the creative boundary. Now the second part, the lower part, the Garbhagriha, will again give us further 40 coordinates fixation, and at the middle is the transcendental domain itself, a 5 space in the role of an origin, and it as such will lead us to value 85, which is parallel to the 85 on walks of Sakal Rigved Samhita. It is this way that slowly, step by step, sequentially, in our TCV dictionary, we are reaching at the organization format of a Vedic knowledge, of which the source of scripture is Sakal Rigved Samhita. Therefore, the sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel with the organization format features of Vedic knowledge, and further those who want to be parallel with the values, features and format of the Vedic systems shall sit comfortably and to imbibe the format, features and values of the transcendental phenomenon of transcendental Lord Shiv manifesting itself as Ardh Nareshwara. It is this manifestation of the transcendental domain in creator's space as a pair of dimensions, of which the one part, the lower part, is taking us to the Garbhagriha. So it is this reach to the Garbhagriha which is to be taken as a part of the Shivalaya foundation. So Shivalaya foundation as such is having a Garbhagriha, and it is this reach at the Garbhagriha which is the reach and which is the focus, and which is to be imbibed by us in the form of the format, features and values of the transcendental phenomenon of Ardh Nareshwara. Therefore, the compilation of TCV dictionary is to be parallel with the organization, foundational organization of a Shivalaya with a focus upon a Garbhagriha. Now it is this focus upon the Garbhagriha of the Shivalaya which is going to be the transcendental phenomenon, and it is in terms of the values, features and formats of the Garbhagriha that we shall be updating our TCV dictionary. From this phase and stage, we shall be taking a thread further in the next session, when we will be going from the transcendental domain to a self-referral domain of the order of our solar universe, as well as parallel to the existence phenomenon within human frame as a Purusha. Thank you very much.